What is up, everybody? I'm George Mossey. Say hello to my co-host, Heather C. So, you, me, and my ex, we are one episode away from the finale. But a lot happened on this episode, episode 11. So we're going to talk about it. First, there was no April, John, Roy, or Lauren. And there was also no Alex and Bowen, the little baby. We didn't get them this week, so we'll wait till next week. There is a confrontation next week, so we're going to be talking about that then. But we did see a scene with Jennifer, Danielle, Josh, and Chantel, and little Camila, and talking about what would take place if Camila was somehow ripped away from them. And this was a hard conversation for me to listen to. I can imagine what it's like for them because they're a blended family and have been for so many years. So the idea of what would happen if Jennifer and Chantel's relationship did not last or make it, what would happen to Camila? Because in this situation, Josh is not on the birth certificate, Jennifer is, but he does have parental rights. So this whole thing kind of brought up the idea of we should know what happened, even if something did take place in our marriage and happen, even though they're not going in that direction, they're working on things and things seem to be positive. It did open up this conversation for them where they were like, well, if something was to go wrong, how would this affect us and how would we take care of it? What rights do we have? So do you think it's good that they're looking to figuring out what would happen? It's because it's kind of like an insurance policy. Like we don't want anything to go wrong, but if it does, we would have a plan in place.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with knowing what your rights are, what the laws are, all that stuff in the middle. I think that it's good because unfortunately life happens, and whether it's good or bad, it's always good to be prepared. Bottom line, they just want to make sure that, Camila is taken care of first and foremost, and that she would still be around the family that she's known since birth. So I don't think that there is anything wrong. I think that they do have all a really strong bond and relationship. I think it was Josh that said that, even if they were to all separate, they probably would still all be friends because they've learned to co-parent all their kids. So I think that worst case scenario, they would still have a bond, even if it was just a friendship. That way they can still continue to have that family unit.
I just want to say this. I want you guys to stay together as the way you are, as the blended family you are. I would love that. I love you all together. And I think that you've shown everyone in the world that it's possible for exes to not just get along, but to help each other. Josh gave his ex-wife a baby for her marriage. And like you wrote a book on how to do it the right way. So I want it to work out. So I want to say one thing. Heather C called this from like the first or second episode. So we met Matt and Chelsea, and I got her raw reaction back podcast episode earlier. And I was like, what do you think about Chelsea? And Heather was like, I think that she still loves Matt in some way, shape, or form. Like you were like, I don't think she is like in love with him and wants to be with him, but she's not ready to let go. And guess what we found out on the episode? That's exactly how she feels. She's not ready to let go. And the idea of Matt marrying Kinsey it's kind of the nail in the coffin for her that not only is he not her boyfriend, he's not going to be with her, he's also going to have to stop giving her so much of his time, which I think is Kinsey's only wish. Like she loves him and the only issue is Chelsea is there too much. And we realized that Chelsea was there on purpose. It wasn't because they were just friends. It wasn't because she just got along with Matt and it was how the situation turned out. She was keeping Matt around for a specific reason. And now that it's kind of gotten that ring, she knows that her time with Matt is limited. And I just want to say, Heather C called it out from the first day because I was like, Heather, tell me what you think. And that's what you told me.
It's crazy. I speak female. No, I don't fault Chelsea for having her feelings. I mean, I think that a lot of people want their cake and eat it too situation. Like, don't necessarily have to be in a relationship, but you don't really want to see that person in a relationship either. Or you don't mind if they're in a relationship, but you just don't want to see it like long term because then it becomes real. Because like she said, like if they're dating, people break up all the time. But, when you're married, there's a little bit more involved because, there's all the paperwork and all that stuff. So it makes it a little bit more like in your face. It's real. So I think that it was just too much for her to bear. I think that the way she did it, she believed was like the best case scenario for herself. But if she was truly friends with him, she would have been able to say, look, I'm sorry. I love you to pieces. I want to be here for you, but I'm going to go ahead and move out and give you guys some space. Here's your key back. I'm going to try to be there for you for your day. It is hard for me, like, just to be honest, because first and foremost, friendship equals loyalty and honesty. And if you can't have one of those, then you don't have a friendship, because otherwise it's one-sided. He believes, okay, I can move on from her and then have a relationship. And she's like, you know what? I don't want to see what I could have had in my face all the time. And that could be a little bit that stems from it too. Like, the reason why her relationship went south is because that's what should have been in their future, and it wasn't. So I don't know. I saw it from the start only because I feel like I would probably feel the same way. I would be like, okay, we're friends and I love you to pieces, but it's going to break my heart to see it play out in front of my face until I can process it. So that's why I kind of thought there's something more than that. And I think a lot of these females on this show are that way. Like, as long as they're dating the person is one thing, but if it makes it official, then they start getting defensive. They're like, they're not ready to get married. They weren't ready to get married to you. They might be ready to get married to someone else. They just were not ready to get married to you at that time in their life. So I don't know, but I hope, she finds happiness and she can, find peace and they can still be friends and, move on from this.
And congratulations to Kinsey and Matt on their engagement. It was really nice. It was really nice to see her whole family there.
It was very cute ceremony. I loved it.
It was nice. Her family, she was just as surprised as everyone else. And I'm glad that it worked out, because I know this is all she wanted. She wanted two things. She wanted Chelsea out of her house, and she wanted to get engaged to her boyfriend, and she got both of those. So I'm happy that she got everything that she was looking for. So speaking of getting everything that they're looking for, Elodie did not get everything that she was looking for. She told us that DeAndre had been the person that made her love herself again, that made her see herself. And he saw her and understood her and made her feel beautiful. But she needed to know, in order to move forward with their relationship, that he was ready, willing, and wanting to be a stepfather to their child. Now, I have mixed feelings about this, because I feel like Andre wasn't necessarily not be a stepfather, because we've seen scenes with them throughout the season where they were out together as a family, DeAndre, Elodie, and her daughter, and they were doing things together. They were riding in the car together. So I don't necessarily feel like he wasn't, because he's like, well, I did put in the effort to try. But she did say, I want an honest answer from you. If you're ready or not, say yes or no. But he said he wasn't ready. Elodie reacted in a very negative and almost emotional way. She was unhappy, but I feel like honesty is the best way. And I think becoming a stepfather is something that you grow into. Like, how you're in a relationship and you go from dating each other, living together, getting engaged. I feel like becoming a stepfather is something you grow into. There's stages. They've only been together for 8 months. So was he really in the state to say, I'm ready to be a stepfather if they're not even engaged? Like, I don't know. I just feel like they should have kept dating and saw if he was able to grow into it. And I know that's a negative thing, because we know that Darren said seeing this man in her life and then maybe one day he's not there is not a good situation. I definitely agree. Seeing random people come and go, children growing up, not good. But love is not a definite thing. There's trial and error. Like, I feel like Elodie needs to see if things are going to work out with the guy that she's with. She can't just hope that it works out. It's trial and error. She can't just say, tell me you're ready right now. Make it work. That's not how love works.
I do agree with the fact when you had said that maybe they should have just kept it going a little longer. But you know what? That's her feelings. And, we can't sit here and try to justify her feelings. If she feels like, okay, her child is the most important thing in her life. So she looks at it like, okay, what if I give this man, the next 2 years of my life? And let's say by then he's still not ready to be a stepdad. I need to know that you're going to love my child as much as you love me in order for this relationship to work. Now, I don't think that she's demanding that he jumps right in, walks down the aisle, says, call me daddy, and all this stuff, to her daughter. I think that it's just more of a fact of, where do you see this relationship going? Is this something fun? Is this something like a fly-by-night fling? Or is this something that you can really see yourself long-term with me? Can you see ourselves getting married? Can you see yourself eventually becoming a stepfather to my child? Because if you don't see that in your future, then I don't know if I want to spend any more time on this relationship. And
do you feel like the DMs kind of made her feel like she needed to know how serious they really were before they went any farther? Do you feel like, let's say this, hypothetically, a girl never DM'd Ellie and said that, do you think that she would have been willing to give DeAndre a little more time?
I feel like if it wasn't a DM, it would be something else. Because let me just say this out front, okay? I really like all of them. I like Elodie, I like DeAndre, I like all of them, Rowan. But here's my thing. I really wholeheartedly believe, just by watching, I don't know any of them personally, that DeAndre is still kind of like in his Playboy phase. I feel like he likes to be out there with the life. I mean, he had said to Rowan, he's like, I'm out like every night and I'm with this person. So I think if it wasn't that female that DM'd, it could have possibly been another case scenario. Because she has to be with her child. She can't be out on night in the town every stinking day. At some point, she's a mom. So it's like, if he's going out every single night, he's still in that play mode. And that's why he can't see himself being tied down, because he's not ready to mature to the next level in his life. He's still living the glitz and the glamour and the life that he lived when he played baseball and everything. He's like here and she's like here. They're close, but he's not exactly where she needs him to be in order for her to want to give any more of her time. And she would rather separate herself than get hurt in the long run. And you know what? If it's meant to be, love always finds its way back.
So you think that they're probably right for each other. They're just not they're not in the same headspace.
It's like the classic case scenario. You are meant to be with that person, just at a different time. And this isn't their time to be together. He needs to find himself. He needs to know what he wants in life and who he wants to be in life. So that way he could give his full time and attention, because he's still not giving his full time and attention, because he still relies on Rowan for everything.
Yeah, the conversations he has with Rowan should be conversations he has with Elodie. I always felt that way.
There's no reason. Like, I know that there's no problem with your guy having a friend that's a female or whatever, vice versa. It's how deep in the conversations and how deep on a level you take it. And the fact that there used to be a relationship and they were together and the mother loves her, that puts a lot of weight on the relationship as well. So like I said, if it wasn't the DM, it would have been something else. They're just not there.
So next week, we see a scene with DeAndre and his mom, and she's waiting for them to rekindle the relationship. And they didn't really seem like they weren't with it. So maybe they're going to fall back into what they used to be doing before, because I always felt like she's probably going to be the right person for him. Not exactly sure why she's not there now. All right, we've run out of time. So next week for the finale, we're going to go live. We're going to talk about everything that happened on the finale. Thank you so much, my co-host Heather C. Follow me on all social media platforms at George Mossey and at georgemossey.com. We'll see all of you guys next week for the live. Bye, guys.
Bye.